You ever been rejected? You ever been shut down? I know I have. And that's not so bad. Let's get into it. It's a chance to learn and it's a chance to grow and move forward. So today we're gonna break down rejection, see how we can move forward from that, whether it's real estate, fitness, life in general, relationships, all that stuff where rejection can feel like failure, but it can really be a great opportunity. Hey, welcome back again to Get Uncomfortable. I'm your host, Brenton Kroll. Today, we're going to get into rejection. Big, scary, similar to failure. Feels like it's the end of the world. But, I mean, it's really an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to get better. So it should be exciting. Look for those cues. Look for those things. But I want to start off and just talking a little bit about why rejection hurts so bad. Why it sucks so much. But the psychology of rejection is that it actually triggers some brain regions very, very similar, the same as physical pain. So when somebody, the broken heart, when you can actually feel it, or when somebody just kind of feels like somebody's stepping on your dreams and you can feel it, it's a real thing. It's your brain's reaction to that. It's not just in your head. It actually feels like you're feeling that pain. So you're not going crazy. But keep in mind, successful people don't take that personally. They don't let that totally ruin their week. It's take that as feedback when you get rejection. Where we've talked before about my past in real estate. If you lose a client, it feels terrible. But if you take that opportunity to call the client and say, Mr. Seller, I'd love to, congratulations. I see your home just got listed. Sorry, I wasn't the person to be able to help you in that. Do you mind? I thought we had really good rapport. Do you mind if I just ask you, what could I have done differently? And man, I've learned so much from those calls. Those calls have been invaluable, and just like building my business and stuff like that. And just reframing that rejection as, you got a seat at the table. You're in the game. It's proof you're trying. Right? So give yourself some credit for that. If you weren't out there trying to get those listings, you wouldn't be getting rejected, which would probably be easier in the end. But if you get rejected, 1 in 10 times, you got 9 listings, right? So keep that in mind, because that's really the big thing. We want to make sure that if you're never getting rejected, you're probably playing too small. Some cool examples of that actually would be, just kind of read these from you because I looked these up just to make sure I wasn't totally spitballing, but some amazing people that have pushed through countless rejections. So one would be Howard Schultz, a former CEO of a Starbucks. Howard Schultz got turned down 242 times by 242 different banks or lending institutions before he got funding to start the first Starbucks. Now, his net worth is an estimated $4 billion. Another one for you, Rocky. Sylvester Stallone was rejected over 1,500 times, and now he's known as one of the best action stars of all time, with one of the best movie franchises ever. Pretty good for starting with 1,500 rejections or 1,500 no's, right? And we can all recall some of his quotes, but the one that always stands out to me, and I'll have to read it because I feel like I'm on the spot with it, and I don't want to mess up my boy Rocky's quote, but it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's where winning is done. Whew, I literally got goosebumps. That's such a good quote. And it's so true. Like, how hard can you get hit? How hard can you get knocked down? And then you get up. That's really where winning is done. So let's talk about how rejection shows up in different areas. Obviously, we can talk about, real estate. We talked about that a little bit, where you'll hear no way more than you hear yes, just generally speaking, right? If you're an open house, for instance, you might get 10 groups walk through the door. If you're super lucky, you'll get a client out of that 10 groups, right? Maybe not even luck. You have to be skilled and stuff like that. Sometimes you get listings and you just, I don't know, of all the training that I've done and seen, you're not going to have 100% return, right? You're not going to get every client that walks through that door. So it's taking an opportunity to kind of polish and learn and grow from that and see how you can improve, right? How can I make this better? How can I improve? Which I think is crucial to keep in mind. Fitness is one where actually when I started thinking about this episode, for me, fitness is like, well, that's not really rejection, but then starting to think about it, it truly is, right? So sometimes your own body rejects yourself, right? You have these ideas and then you have this in mind where, you can manifest all you want, but you gotta move to engage the law of thermodynamics, right? But sometimes that's tough. Your body, maybe you find a really good diet that works for you and it gives you gut issues, or maybe you start running and you get a sore knee. Like there's all these things where rejection can just creep in, and it might be your body rejecting your effort. So a really good reminder, especially with fitness, that with that rejection in mind, fitness is not linear, right? Fitness is not like, it's kind of a journey. There's ups and downs. There could be seasons where it's linear. Maybe if someone's prepping for a bodybuilding show, for instance, they're going to be super consistent and dialed, and their body fat percentage is going to go, consistently down. But for the most part, there's going to be some waves. There's going to be some good times and bad times in that. Water weight and everything, injuries and all that kind of stuff. That's why people bulk and cut. That's why people you go through waves, right? And sometimes it just takes a little bit of that gut check time to realize that when something is not linear, there's going to be waves and there's going to be changes. Actually, this kind of just jumped into mind. It's not my notes, but I saw a video and I have no idea who it is. Obviously, if somebody sees this and they want their credit, reach out to me. I saw this video, kind of scrolled past it, but the reference was that a weight loss journey is like a roll of paper towel. And I should have brought a paper towel roll, but if you just follow me here for a second, and every workout is like or maybe every week you work out is like a sheet of paper towel. So you kind of spin the paper towel and you rip a sheet off. You won't notice anything. Say the first 10, 12 sheets you rip off, you will not notice that paper towel roll is smaller. But as you rip off more, the paper towel actually covers more surface area of the roll, right? So if you're following me here, the deeper you get into that fitness journey, the more impact that has. So first 10 sheets doesn't do anything, and then it starts to move faster and faster and faster. And I think that's so consistent where, you think of any sort of failure, any sort of consistent action you're going to take, the longer you do it consistently, the faster that needle turns, or the faster that gauge turns. So, really cool thing to keep in mind, just that the way that is. And then eventually you got such good momentum. And now I'm just picturing whipping a paper towel roll and it's just flying, right? So, I mean, there's different ways to look at it for sure, but just keep in mind that it's not linear, but once you really get going, it can speed up over time. And the natural, the big one, rejection from people. Getting rejected from people can be so hard, right? It feels like, and coming from a person where I genuinely want people to like me or love me, right? Even something is like we talked about, whether you get fired, whether you don't get picked up for a promotion, whether somebody breaks up with you, or even like in today's world, I think many of us can attest to it, the impact on social media. Like you put something out there, whether it's a podcast or a real estate, like a house tour video, you put something out in the world and you put all this time and effort in, and you get 2 likes, and one of them's your grandma and one of them's your wife or whatever. So it must be somebody else. But like that sucks, right? You put a lot of effort in, you think you really nailed it, and you think you put out a really good product, and just it doesn't land, it doesn't resonate for whatever reason. So that rejection from people can come in all different ways, and it can really be debilitating. And sometimes that fear of rejection, while often that fear of rejection can can really just stop you from taking that action. And again, I talked about it in pretty much every one of these episodes, the fear of rejection and the struggle I've had with starting this podcast. And it's getting smoother now, and I'm really actually enjoying it. The other night I turned to Ashley and I was like, this is fun. Like, now that I actually I'm not a professional by any stretch, but getting some graphics in, getting some music behind it. I got 4 or 5 episodes kind of edited and ready to go for whenever I actually start releasing them. It's fun, but naturally, now the fear of rejection is starting to creep in a little bit more, because now I have episodes ready to go. I'm ready to release them, but not worst case scenario, but naturally a fear in my mind is that I put them out there and it just doesn't land, right? It just doesn't resonate with people, and people don't engage, and people don't like it, and whatever else. That would be a form of rejection. And I think the old me, or a lot of people, or a lot of people in a lot of situations, that fear of rejection would actually be debilitating to the point where you don't do the thing that you say you're going to do because you don't want to get rejected. So you don't even take the chance. It's like going up to bat and feeling like, you don't want to not hit a home run. So I might as well just not swing. Maybe I'll take a walk, right? That's not really what we're doing in life. We need to make sure that every once in a while we need to swing for the fences. And every once in a while we need to understand that you might strike out, but to live your life to the fullest, you gotta take a chance every once in a while. So a couple of different ways how rejection can show up in your life. But now let's get into how to handle that, how to handle rejection like a pro. So we kind of talked about it before at the start here, but keep in mind, rejection is data, not definition, not a definition. So instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, really reframe that to, what can I learn from this? Again, that story of the real estate thing would be okay. And even fitness. If your body is not reacting to your new diet or your new activity level, or maybe you're doing, maybe you're starving yourself and you're doing 15,000 steps a day and you don't feel better, and you're not as active, like you don't have the same jump, you don't have energy, libido's down, and you're not losing weight or whatever, or even if you are losing weight, but you have all these other signals, it's like, what can I learn from this, right? So maybe I would say in that situation, it's okay, well, I don't need to start over. 15,000 steps is good. Maybe instead of running, you walk it. And let's add some food, let's add some fiber, let's add some protein. And very likely you do some tweaks and you kind of turn the dials a little bit, and you'll start to see that your body really reacts, right? So again, whether that's business or fitness or anything like that, just use it as data, don't let it define you. Use it as a learning tool. And I love gamifying stuff, but track it, gamify it. One of the Mind Pump guys, Adam on Mind Pump, said, I'm going to butcher it. He'll never see this, but what is it? He heard once that it takes 18 failures or 18 rejections, whatever the stat was, to actually, before somebody actually becomes a millionaire. And it's like, okay, so first of all, I butchered that too bad. I'll have to do another video on it and do some more research and make sure I'm clear on this. I'm just it's just coming to me a little bit right now, but gamify it. And I remember the story he told was really, really cool. He's like, awesome. And he started getting out there in business, and he's like, I'm going to take these risks. And he's like, instead of being scared to fail, it turned into a no or a rejection was super fun for him, because he was like tracking, right? If I got 18, I got to get rejected 18 times. And then on the 19th time, I'm going to be a millionaire. Make those 18 worth it. Do them quick. Do them and track them. Make sure you're like, okay, boom, I'm doing all these things. And gamify it. Have some fun with it. And, if you need, there's all this, it takes 6 calls to get a yes or whatever. If you need 10 rejections to get one yes, then make it fun. Lay out your 10 rejections. Track them. Susie Joe said no. Paul Blart, oh, great name. Paul Blart told me to pound sand, right? And it's like, go through the list and track those. And then once you get to the last one, you know that you're going to get that win. 3 would be take emotion out of it. Don't make rejection about your self-worth. And I've been down this road But we need to make sure it's a part of the process, right? People win, people lose. And a really good stat or really good story would be, again, I don't know, we had a conversation about it the other day with a friend of mine. I think I brought it up the other day, but winners lose more than losers because they're out there doing the thing and getting rejected. So just keep that mentality. Just keep pushing and keep losing, because winners lose often. Winners fail all the time. Successful people take risks, and sometimes they don't pan out, but they're not going to let that dictate their life, and they're not going to let that dictate who they are as a person. They're definitely not going to let that dictate their success. It's try, fail, and fail forward. Grow and do the thing. And it's unbelievable the stories you hear about everybody that's had that fail forward mentality. But you just got to take the emotion out of it a bit. 24-hour rule, process and move on. So I had a really intense conversation with a realtor here today. They were shattered. There was a massive issue, and won't get into the issue itself, but they felt rejected. They felt offended. They felt like their worth was down. It was the whole wave of, why do I do things the way I do things? Why do I work so hard? Why do I treat people so well to turn around and get stepped on and blah, 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 blah. And I think really one of the things I brought in value to that conversation was obviously a calm demeanor. But another one was, this was a call within 2 hours of the situation happening. And I think sometimes what we need to realize is that's when it feels terrible, right? That's the first bit. That's like, the Band-Aid thing. That's when it's at its worst. But sometimes there's a lot of value in processing, giving it 24 hours and say, I'm not going to do anything rash, right? And that's where often if I do my call to somebody, to a seller that I didn't get the chance to help, I'll wait. I won't see the listing pop up and then call them, because I'll be all shaky and I won't do a good job. And I'll let it settle in, kind of rationalize it for myself, help them justify it, kind of see them as people and see like, okay, why would they make these decisions, and calm down a bit, set myself up for success in those conversations, and then process and move on. That processing could be looking into it more, could be, like I say, rationalizing it. Why did somebody do what they did? Why did I do what I did? How can I learn from it and take the next step forward? But it's really that recalibration that's super, super valuable. And again, rewire. So number 5 would be rewire your brain to expect rejection and push through anyways. Again, if I go into this podcast, I'm in a sense, I am, maybe it's my negative self-talk coming out, but in a sense, I expect that, believe it or not, I probably won't be Joe Rogan tomorrow, right? I'm probably not going to blow up. I'm probably not going to be, I'm probably not going to have, Lululemon's probably not, I'm wearing a Lululemon shirt though, by the way. How do I look? Lululemon's not going to call me and say, hey, you want to deal? You want to hook up with, go play PGA with Minwoo Lee and we'll set you up with all the clothes. No, it's not how it's going to work. So whatever that form of rejection is, and I'm being silly, but I more or less recognize that, if I don't get, 150 shares on my first video, or if I don't get 5 shares on my first video, or 5 likes, whatever, right? I'm anticipating there's going to be some of these videos that do not land, and there's going to be some of these videos that people don't resonate with. The editing might not be great. All sorts of reasons people might not like it, right? And I'll probably get people close to me and people distant from me probably, ask me what the heck I'm doing. Why would I, why are you wasting your time? I'm here late at night, my family's at home, and, like there's a million things a person could be doing, right? But the reality is I want to do this. This is fun for me. This is exciting for me. And I recognize that whether it's a success or a failure in the end, I'm deeming it as success because I'm doing it, right? So the support is super, super appreciated, but I also recognize that this kind of stuff isn't for everybody, right? We love watching, don't judge me, but we love watching Good Mythical Morning on YouTube. Those guys are awesome, right? Rhett and Link, they're so fun. Yeah. And I don't know why I brought that up, But this isn't Rhett Link. I'm not here eating, I'm not going to even tell you what they eat lately, but like I'm not here. Yesterday we were watching, they're making steam out of pop, right? Like it's just silly, it's fun, and they're hilarious guys, and it's just really lighthearted stuff that's fun to take in. I like to think of myself as a fun guy, but this isn't that, right? And I don't think it's going to be that. I don't expect that. I think it's going to be, for some people, maybe there's one person out there that gets tremendous value out of this stuff and calls me up one day 5 years down the road and said, hey, you did this episode on rejection, and 2 days later I was rejected and I remembered your episode, and I really appreciate the fact that I didn't spiral because of what you said or what blah 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 blah, right? So I think there's just a lot of stuff we can do to kind of rewire it and just repurpose. And kind of got on a bit of a tangent there, but more or less with the podcast, I'm seeking rejection to a point, right? I recognize that this isn't going to be win-win-win. This is going to be like, this is a win for me regardless of the result, but I expect that it's not going to be a win for everybody, right? Silly as it is. But that is a very powerful thing. So as soon as I seek that rejection, I anticipate it, I know it's coming. All of a sudden, it's a lot easier for me to get in here and do these things, right? Because I know it's not going to land for everybody. I know there's going to be comments, and I kind of welcome that because it's a sign that I'm doing something uncomfortable. Hey, it's a good name of a podcast. Get uncomfortable, right? So doing something uncomfortable and just doing the thing is a big win. Okay. So just as a little bit of a cap on it, rejection is part of the process. The more you face it, the tougher you get. The question is not, will I get rejected? It's how will I handle that rejection? We've all been rejected. We're all going to be rejected in the future. Don't let that dictate your life. Don't let that dictate your actions. And I'm guilty as anybody as making me hesitate because I don't want to be rejected. But the reality is, a lot of things, and in my life and in a lot of people's lives that I see and talk to, that fear of rejection never stopped them. And then they pushed through and did the thing, whatever it is, podcast, jumping from electrical to real estate, buying a brokerage. There's a lot of rejection that can come in there and a lot of opinions that can hit you. But the best decisions you'll ever make are the ones that are scary because they bring the best result, right? Don't be scared of rejection. Don't let it define you because, again, the one thing I want to reiterate, winners lose more than losers because they're out there winning. They're out there taking action and stuff. So this week, I want you to put yourself out there. Do something scary. I would love for you to jump on a video and tell me in a video, tag me in your video, I'll repost it, right? Or send me a video and tell me not to repost it. That's cool too. But put me in a video and tag me and say, this is what I did. This is how I got rejected, or this is what I was scared of for rejection, and I did it anyways. I would love to hear your stories. I'll put my Instagram handle right here somewhere. Definitely hit me up. Instagram's the best spot to find me. But tell me your stories. Tell me what's going on, and I would love to see that you're putting yourself out there. I'm doing myself to put myself out there. I am putting myself out there. Yeah, negative self-talk always creeps in. I am putting myself out there. I am committing to kind of pushing towards rejection. I'm looking forward to hearing those no's. I'm looking forward to posting a video that somebody doesn't click like on, because at the end of the day, I know that's giving me the best avenue to feeling the best about myself, right? I'm not letting those situations, those reactions, or those rejections dictate how I live my life every day. And I think that's super powerful. And that feels good even telling you guys. So I'd love for you to have that same feeling. So again, I'll put the thing here, subscribe, click the bell, hit me up on Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. I would love to hear your stories. And if this episode helped you, if this episode is something that you think would resonate with somebody in your life, I would love for you to share it along or tag them here, whatever you want to do, but just get this in somebody else's hands, and we'll continue to push through that rejection. We're all going to hear no from time to time. We might as well learn from it and move forward, right? Thanks very much. Appreciate you guys. You ever got shut down? You ever got rejected? I have.